Waking up to Delsym. Yo, what's up? Is someone that's someone, and welcome back to today's report. Today's report was sent in by DomHitEmUp. The substance is used, Dextromethorphan Cannabis, at a dose of 450 micrograms of DXM. The route administration, orally and smoked. Gender, male. Weight, 145 pounds. Age, 18. For his prior experience, LSD and cannabis. For his set, this was his first time trying DXM, and he was bored. And the setting, at his friend's house, and then his house. Okay, so another DXM trip, one on Delsym, which we only have a handful of, I believe. Also, this is Dom's first time with DXM, which I don't know if we've had a report specifically covering someone's first time where it was Polysterex. Which, this isn't a very strong dose, considering it is Polysterex, but for a first timer, it was definitely enough to give him a trip to remember. He dosed that night and woke up tripping, which if you don't know, Polysterex is basically the extended release version of DXM, possibly lasting upwards near 16 hours or more. So it makes sense that he was able to sleep through the beginning phase and basically woke up in a trip. But Dom gives some really good descriptions here, especially concerning music, physical sensations, and emotions, typically areas that DXM impact. And he has a good reference point in his acid trips to compare things to, so it makes for a pretty interesting report. I'm sure you'll enjoy this one, so without further ado, let's dive right into this. This is the first and only time I have DXM tripped, and it was fairly recent, about 2 to 3 weeks ago. I have dropped acid a few times, so I'm not completely new to tripping, or whatever you want to call it. Quarantine had me really bored. I was watching random trip reports, and I wanted to try it. I'm living in my dorm room at college. They let a limited amount of people stay if they need to. I drank approximately 450 milligrams of DXM at 9 p.m. And the first night honestly wasn't anything special. I just saw that my pupils were super dilated, and I just felt kind of weird. Music was a little extra enjoyable, and I could feel myself just being slightly more incoherent and cloudy. I had the urge to FaceTime my friends and be super social, so I did that for a few hours and then listened to music until I fell asleep. There was nothing particularly special besides it kind of feeling like I was watching a GoPro video of myself moving around, instead of seeing normal, if that makes sense. I wake up thinking that it should be out of my system now, but nope. I look in the mirror and my pupils are still huge, but I don't really feel much different than if I was sober. I shower and then go over to my friend's apartment off campus. We hang out and talk for a while, and eventually we smoke a few bowls. This is when the DXM became a very different drug. I was laying down on his couch and we were talking, and things started seeming much more psychedelic, I would say. A little later, I got up to get some water as my mouth became very dry. It was kind of hard to walk, and I imagine it probably looked pretty strange and robotic, but I couldn't help it. He was playing music, but I wanted to listen to my own and just experience the DXM fully. I put on my headphones and said, "I'm gonna go to Domland for a while," and he nodded. I closed my eyes and listened to some relaxing music. I specifically remember That's On Me by Mac Miller being particularly great, and the guitar really overpowering everything else when I never noticed it that much previously. It was live music on LSD, except without the intense emotions that LSD would come with, which I do enjoy, and then different parts of the music would stand out. I noticed the instrumentals were very overpowering to the vocals, so I listened to a lot of very relaxing R&B, like Daniel Caesar and Rap Like Circles by Mac Miller. I'm seeing visuals with my eyes closed, just thinking about stuff and letting it go wherever my mind wanted to wander to. Like whatever story was going on in my head would just appear when I had my eyes closed. My muscles were getting very stiff at moments, and I was getting weird sensations throughout my body and muscles. I have a torn ACL, and that area felt particularly strange. It would get much more intense the more I thought about it, and would become concerning, so I just tried to go back into my mind. After a while, it was more of listening to music and just kind of vibing out. I had to pee really bad. I open my eyes and look over at my friend who was taking a nap in his bed. I walk over to the bathroom, take my piss, and then I look in the mirror. I didn't look any different in hallucinating or visual sense, but the way I view myself was different. As opposed to looking at myself as a human, I just kind of recognized myself as an animal. I looked into my eyes, and it was just a strange feeling. I kind of thought to myself, as there was just so many emotions in those huge dilated pupils/eyes. It's okay, little buddy, everything is okay. And honestly, it was very comforting. I then lay back down, drank some water, and put my headphones back in. I thought a lot about how humans are really just animals, and it was pretty powerful stuff. You can see people in a much different sense if you just look at them as animals and not any more special or better than any other animals. It's a very intriguing thing to think about for me, even in sobriety. Eventually I decide I'm gonna go back home. The walk home, I was kind of paranoid, but besides that, I enjoyed the music a lot and it was pretty peaceful. I just went in my room and listened to music with my eyes closed as my high faded away. Things were pretty normal after that, but it was a very unique experience. The afterglow was quite nice, and I felt pretty happy the few days following, except I couldn't come for the next 3 days. I definitely would not do it again unless I had weed on me, but I don't want to make it a habit. I'll finish the bottle eventually, but don't intend on buying any more. Oh, and also, the whole trip, even before and after the weed, time felt like it was moving at a constant rate. A little slower perhaps, but normally, as you get very involved with something, time seems to move faster, but it seemed to be constant the whole time. Never at any moment did I check the time, and it had gone by faster than I thought, like weed or acid, or even just normally doing stuff. It was always constant.